Welcome to Let's Play Gran Turismo 3, episode 85, and where it is now time for us to get through the last of our forward rally events, considering the rest of the rally events are notably in reverse. So, it is time for Route 5 wet, and as I said before, I was going to plan on using both the Fords for the next two segments following the Smoky Mountain Rally, and officially I'm a man of my word, so I'm gonna switch to the Focus for this. And I'm also gonna get myself the Turbo, and hopefully from here I will not have to fuck this up again. Because if I do, then I will be both pissed off and upset. Anyways, same prize giving structure as we usually get. Let's get through this. And where our opponent for this event is the Lancer Evo 7. And surprisingly for this event we can also qualify. But again, I'm not going to do that because I just want to get to the race. Also furthermore, it won't be necessary for me to qualify anyway, because most of the time I know I'll just be last before we get to the race itself. So personally, I don't think qualifying is worth it. I mean, you can do it all you want, but not me, because there's only two cars in the event. But yeah. I should probably note, this is the first time Polyphony has officially created a track in intermittable conditions, or in other words, changeable conditions, because that's precisely what this track is. Under many circumstances, and already at the moment, I have pulled up quite a gap to the Evo 7 for this first race, so I think it's probably going to be the margins of the second race that ultimately decide what exactly I will do for the third race, considering this is the first time ever that Polyphony had officially given us a track under wet conditions. And I believe, as far as I know, this is also the only track they gave us under wet conditions. And to those of you who are veterans of the game, you probably know very well that this is also one of the tracks in the Super License that you have to set a lap on. And I think it's also in the Turismo, as far as I know. The Toyota Sprinter Turismo, I might add. To those of you who are veterans of this game, probably know this. And already, I have just absolutely dominated this event so far. I'm leading this by 5 seconds. So I think that pretty much goes to show how easy this first event really is. And hopefully from here I can do everything properly this time. Hopefully I will not do any further wrongdoings with my recordings. And furthermore, yes, in the future I probably will re-record this game at some point in the future, if I feel like it, because obviously I feel like I do want to correct myself from the errors that I made in this game prior to this, even though that will probably be when I manage to get myself sorted out. But I think it's pretty clear to say that I am definitely going to win this event no matter what happens. there we go. I pretty much dominated race 1, what I could work out. And also, I know you probably cannot notice, but at the time of recording this, I'm also wearing a Ford Thunderbird shirt, so that's probably another reason on why exactly I consider myself to be a Ford supporter. Also, furthermore, the sound you heard in the background during the race was basically the tyres adapting to the wet conditions. And that was race 1, and all I can really say about that is that, well, it was a domination run, basically. Anyways, second race, and we're going up against the Evo 7 once again. And where I can hopefully manage to defeat him. I would imagine this is probably going to be a closer race than the first one was, because, well, the first race was basically piss easy, from what I could work out, as I already dart myself down the inside and I immediately take the lead. But I would imagine the Evo 7 is probably going to be looking more competitive in this event, from what I can work out. Already, I fucked myself. And yep, the Evo 7 is definitely much closer on this attempt than he was on the previous attempt. That car is looking much more competitive on this attempt. Sorry, in this race than it was the first race, because the gap is only dead on a second. So, it could put me under pressure before this race is done, considering this is already proving to be much closer than the first race was, because up to that point, I was basically leading by 4 seconds at the end of the first race. But, my oh my, how things can suddenly change. From one dominant race to a not so dominant race. Oh fuck me. I definitely got a snap of oversteer there through the tunnel. Probably because the tunnel itself is the only place where it is not wet. But yeah, I can definitely say this is a wet track. And I believe, as far as I know, like I said from arcade mode, this is also the only track in this game that officially has, you know, a wet variant from the original. I mean, it's still basically the same track, but it's just a different version of it because it's in wet conditions. But again, the Evo 7 is definitely keeping up with me on this attempt, because the gap is only just over a second. Oh, fuck me. I slid into the wall. I should have short-shifted into 4th gear as I was going through the corner. But I chose not to, because even though my gut was telling me yes, my brain was just telling me no. And he's closing in again, so this race is not over by any means, or by any stretch of the imagination. And no such mistakes this time as I went through the tunnel. I am very much keeping myself in check with the conditions I'm adapting to. And the gap is now less than a second once again, so I think that pretty much proves, of course, the Evo 7 is a lot more competitive in this race than he was the first race. Might as well be perfectly clear on that. Even though I am able to gain the advantage through Sector 2. Because the remaining rally events in this game are basically just the same courses again, except they are in reverse following this event. That's basically all they really are. And officially, there we go. And in the end of that, I won by just 8/10 of a second over the Evo 7. So overall, that was a pretty close race, considering rubber banding in this race was a lot more stronger than the first race was, because I absolutely decimated that first race. I won by 9 seconds, and oddly enough, as I would have expected, this race was completely different to the first one. Anyways, saving the replay, because that's what I do. And let's now head over to the final race of SS Route 5 Wet. Alright. Final race, and where I would imagine this one will probably be the most competitive. Fuck me, I forgot to add the turbo. Well, might as well have to see what the test is in this game, and I'll see how far off the pace I am after the first lap. Might as well see if I can test myself against the Evo 7, and then hopefully, if I do manage to keep up with him, then maybe I don't need the turbo. Although, at the moment at least, I am actually keeping up with the Evo 7. Which oddly enough is one thing I did not expect myself to do through the corners. But I think it's pretty clear to say what the difference is between having a turbo installed and not having a turbo installed. I think it's pretty clear to say that I'm not going to be able to keep up with him down the straights. Even though I will have to be more aggressive through the corners if I'm going to keep up with him. Because, unlike him, I do not have a turbo on. And this could be a very close race. And probably also a thrilling race for you as the viewers. But, ironically enough, I'm already benefiting without the turbo because I'm actually leading this thing. But once we get down the front stretch, the Evo 7 will undoubtedly blitz me in terms of straight line speed. Although I do manage to lead the first lap because the Evo 7 bumped me. Too little too late to lead the first lap, dumbass. Aha! I have led the first lap. And now all I've got to do is hope that I can lead the rest of the race. Even though this was basically just a testament towards me seeing if I can succeed potentially winning this race without needing a turbo. Although I still don't know what exactly is going to occur. by the time this event is done. But again, this is a much closer race than the first two were, in terms of the intervals, because, oddly enough, I'm actually managing to lead this thing, surprisingly. I should not have shifted down to third gear. Also, I think I just heard the turbo there when I shifted up. Even though I'm using the exterior view compared to the bumper view, and yep, there goes the Evo 7. As I anticipated, he was going to pass me down that front stretch. But at the very least, I can say that it is more than possible for me to compete with the Evo 7 for the win without needing the turbo than it is with the turbo. Even though conditions would have more or less been the same, I still think that would have turned out to be the case overall. Oddly enough, I'm able to get the jump through the chicane over the Mitsubishi, even though he is able to close that interval down again through Sector 1, basically. Or at least through the final sector, I should say, considering there is a backstretch. I just get him on that lap. That would have literally been a photo finish had that been any closer. But again, it's ultimately the corners that are managing to keep me ahead of the Evo 7. And oddly enough, I've actually proven to myself that I do not need the turbo to win this event. I don't think. So, whoops. I don't think I needed to purchase the turbo. Although I still purchased it anyway, you know, just in case. Because that Evo 7 is looking quick. We've basically been sword fighting pretty much lap after lap. Pretty much going at it tooth and nail around this course since the start of the race. Although, fortunately for me at least, I only have one lap left before this race is over. Oh, shit. I fucked up my entry. I have no idea how I did not clip the outside wall. And I fucked up my entry again. Yep. The Evo 7 is gonna absolutely blitz me unless it bumps me down the front stretch. And he does give me a little nudge. He gives me another nudge. I still lead going into the final lap, as of which this is now the final lap. And this has been one hell of a race so far, because my cornering speeds have been managing to keep me ahead of the Evo 7 up to this long in the race, and yet at the same time the Evo 7 has basically been absolutely blitzing my speeds down the straights. Guess that's just how much more capable of going fast he really is. As like, he's basically gotta go fast down the front stretch, because that's basically his trademark for speed. Even though it does not take speed, of course, to win on a course that is high on corners, that is rather high on cornering speeds, such as this one. And that's exactly what's been managing to keep me ahead for so long. this event. And all I need to do now is fend off from the Evo 7. It'll be one close finish, but I'm hoping and saying that I can hold on for the race win. Gives me a bump, I put the wall. It was literally a side-by-side finish, but I just got him at the line. You know what, I'm gonna have to save that replay, because that was probably the closest race of them all. It was literally a photo finish, that was. Even though we weren't side-by-side when we crossed the line. Because of the distance between us. But still, fucking hell, that was one hell of a finish. You know what? I'm gonna have to overwrite this one. Because I would imagine I'll probably get some more interesting shots from that race. Yeah, I just overwrit the file. Anyways, what prize car are we going to get this time? We get the Citroen Zara from this event. That is nice. That is very nice. Alright. So, that's all of the forward rally events now done. All we have left are the same tracks again, except they are in reverse. And win ratio still standing at 83. Still standing at 83%. We are now 82.8%. As we are now at the halfway point of the rally events. And this is our prize car, the Citroen Zara rally car. Which oddly enough I believe is also the only two-wheel drive rally car in this game. Because, you know, front-engined, front-wheel drive is basically what this is. Alright, anyways, I'm done. And so, next time, we shall be doing the Tahiti circuit in reverse. So, yeah. Stay tuned for the reverse courses in the rally events.